Hey guys, we're gonna do another episode of Copper Odyssey, and it's definitely great that the sirens are going in the background. Okay, I guess they stopped. It's about 3 p.m. Today is April 4th, it's a Monday. And I'm gonna show off some more Copper Odyssey stuff. Oh, there's so much dialogue in this episode, so I'm gonna have to read it. Which I'm not exactly looking forward to, but I get to listen to this pleasantly aesthetic music. 2 chairs, yeah, I see that. We've perfect for 2 dogs. Why would you say something like that? This one is just okay, a standard house. That house is pretty big. And then why is the prince so tiny? Tiny, tiny, tiny house. Another old lady portrait. I can't hear a thing she's saying. She's saying a lot, and I can hear it. What is she saying? I have to know. Not now, I'll tell you later. I like this one. Another old lady portrait. I like imagining that Miss Gunn has the ability to hear, just like some people can hear things telepathically, and like in Psychonauts, people can communicate with animals, or in Harry Potter or whatever. And just Miss Gunn can communicate with paintings. Not communicate with them, just hear them. Maybe she can respond back to them too, I don't know. Be like, okay, here's the first main area of the game, and this is one of my favorite songs in the game. Just like when I was like first playing through this game, absolutely confused off my neck as to what the hell was happening. This song kind of motivated me to keep playing and keep grinding and keep pushing on despite the fact that I was dying all the time. Hopefully we're not going to die all the time in this playthrough, but I can't guarantee anything. But we can grind off of easy enemies. Here are our first enemies in the game. Tape, Ragtime, and Horse. Ragtime is a pretty simple enemy. It is based off of a rag. It's actually kind of literally a rag doll. Horse is... I never looked at the enemy design closely. I just noticed that it was like a silly mask. But like, there's like a person on a horse, like it's a horse. And there's a dude made out of tape, although what he looks like is he looks like the Stinky Cheese from that John Sieska book. I used to love John Sieska as a kid. I say stuff like that. It's like, I used to love ... And then certain people in my life, cough cough Webster, are like, you used to love it, why don't you still love it? I still love it. And I'm like, but no, that's not what I mean. I mean, like, I still kind of love it. I still kind of appreciate it, but I forgot about it. I haven't thought about it as often since I was a child. That's what I mean. Awakened drag. I haven't caught the acting bug. Someone might get hurt. Yeah, well, they might. I sip water from the river and I'm proud of it. Mug moment. No, I kind of hate that meme. Even though it started with Joel, and Joel is one of my favorite people ever. But the thing is, like, my friend Ryan, like, started quoting Mug Moment. And, like, I was like, oh, that's a nice Joel reference. And then I found out later he didn't know who he didn't know what Vine Sauce was, and he didn't know who Vinny was. And I'm like, you don't know who Vinny was? You don't know who Joel is? But apparently the popularity of Mug Moment has transcended. Anyway, that's I don't know why I'm talking about that. That is a stupid choice of conversation. Here we got a room full of rags. And I think it's the kind of thing where if you beat them all, you beat them all permanently. So it's not like you can just kind of grind. It's kind of interesting thinking about like an RPG maker, thinking about the difference between like visible enemies and like enemies that just spawn through random encounters, so they're invisible. They're not sprites on the overworld. Where I've played some RPG maker games where it's only overworld sprites, like Ashes of Immortality is like that. It's kind of based on Chrono Trigger. But you know, I think I play the most RPG games that I play are a lot more like Earthbound or something like that. I definitely like RPGs that are more earthbound in tone than, you know, Chrono Trigger, that's, you know, stereotypical, like trees and mountains. I guess Chrono Trigger is not stereotypical at all. Chrono Trigger has like factories and time travel and like a dude who rides a motorcycle and like a dragon and a but still, Chrono Trigger is just like that like typical RPG that everybody likes. I guess like really it's Final Fantasy VI, but hopefully I can keep commentating. I really overdid it this weekend. Like I had yesterday was Sunday and my friend and I were trying to eat this huge box of poutine together, and poutine is one of the, like, health-wise just the worst foods for you imaginable. I guess it could only be worse if it had like a ton of red meat in it. Which fortunately poutine is vegetarian, but that doesn't mean it's healthy. And then afterwards, you know, we got drinks, and that's a lot of empty calories there. And we had cheesecake with our drinks. So it's like, I'm trying to make up for it by not eating anything today. And like, I don't know if it's because it's like, it's not winter anymore, or like, you know, it's for some reason I like didn't really eat anything until 1 o'clock today. So that means like I was up since like 8:30 and I didn't eat anything till like 1:30, and I felt fine. You know, it is possible. It's weird how our metabolism works, because like actually eating a super early breakfast kind of kicks our metabolism into overtime. I was always super resentful of the fact that when I was in high school, we had our lunch period at 10 a.m. because we shared the building with like 6 other schools, so that was the only time when we had the cafeteria to ourselves. And I knew that I did not want to finish my lunch at 10 a.m. because I knew that I was going to be starving at 2:30 by the time that school finishes. You know, of course you're going to be starving because school is like hours and hours of sitting still and trying to memorize information, and there's just about nothing in the world that makes you hungrier than that. And I knew that I was going to be starving at 2:30, but like I would always try to pull out my lunch box during class and I would get yelled at by teachers, and it's like, don't you realize that like that's I don't know what I want them to realize. I don't have a clear agenda. This is a cultured gardener. Yeah, so sorry, I've been falling behind with the dialogue. Incoming problem, we have emulsin. That's, I guess, emulsifier is a thing in art or chemistry or something. I guess it's a thing in printmaking, because this is not just about art studio, but it's about making prints. Which maybe I would have a clearer idea. Oh, I guess I love this. He is waiting for the right person to come. I'm not the right person? I see no reason why you would be. Forgive his rudeness. Breakfast does not exist for people like him. I eat plenty. He eats wood chips. So do I. That's just such a bizarre interaction. Just an old man looking out for a boy. Isn't that what all old men like me? I've met many old ones, and they all come in some sort of variety. He waits, I continue, because you just have the time. Enough of our talking. This is the part where I tell you to get out. Why and why, you ask? He is training and training. He stands with grace. The kingdom wants to be him, even Seymour. But you are the studio monitor, and you must run frantically. The dialogue in this game is so surreal. I don't even know how to describe it. It's just like the colors of this game are so surreal, and the dialogue is like so like Lynchian. It's like, just stop trying to make sense of it. It's like, he eats wood chips. I guess because he's Mr. Woodcut. That's why. I don't know. With the way my brain works, I like Maybe somebody can, like, analyze it closely and make sense out of every single thing. This is a sorely mistaken man. I took it he was preoccupied. If he was busy, he looked a bit like you or I. I can't actually see much at all, but I hope for your sake you look like me. You might just get hurt around here. You have rags in your face, good sir. These castles look nice. Just like the ramparts or whatever they are. Here's the stinky cheese tape yet again. So far these enemies are being pretty merciful on us. That being said, whenever they get us dirty, that's basically like this game's equivalent of poison. It'll drain your health really quickly, so when you're dirty, you have to clean it off with a rag, otherwise your health will drain really quickly. At least that's what I understand. I love the font. The font is a really kind of oddly formal, yet somehow like strange to see in an RPG kind of font. I always think a lot about fonts in games. Like Scott Cawthon has a very like unique style because of the fonts that he uses. Like, I can't be the only one who notices that. Like, he has a sort of, like, kitschy, like, everything's in, like, Times New Roman sort of style that's, like, odd to see in a video game. I don't know if it's Times New Roman. It's in a few... I'd love to, like, do a paper on just, like, the fonts in Scott Cawthon games. Of course, that would be really nerdy, and people would probably laugh at me, but... Hey, I just watched a 2.5 hour long video on speedruns of The Hobbit. It was actually quite an enjoyable video. So now we're already up to level 12. And a little bit about the party. Monitor is, you know, kind of your typical protagonist. He has good healing and also good offense. Bad Girl, as implied by her name, is mostly about the offense, and she's by far my favorite party member. If you get the chance to use Big Hit with her, it's really powerful. You just want to, you know, keep using that Big Hit, and it'll definitely help you through. And Miss Gunn and Mr. Woodcut are, in my opinion, definitely weaker party members, but good support because they can, you know, do stuff with status ailments, debuffs, which are kind of the same thing in RPGs, I guess. Just checking out what crafts I have. Mr. Woodcut, I think, does get Final Cut. Haha, Final Cut, video editor, whatever. Which is a pretty good offense move, but... he's definitely not as strong offensively as, like, Bad Girl. That's something that I'm kind of weak at, I think, is, like, strategizing with RPGs. But, you know, a lot of RPGs you can just, you know the basic strategy, you know, like hit, heal, you know, and you're fine. That's the kind of RPGs that I like. I don't know. I like your pretty much standard 2D JRPGs. I like Paper Mario because it's a great beginner RPG. I've talked about this before. I like the kind of proliferation out there of games that have like a surreal tone and they take inspiration from Earthbound. I like Off because it's actually a really easy RPG, and it's mainly story driven and atmosphere driven. I love that game. I can't get enough of Off, even though it's been a year since I played it. It's April, which is a good time for me for sort of replaying my favorite games. Like I was replaying Alice in Wonderland on the Wii. I was replaying Lost Winds. Here's Jax. She's an interesting character. I, Jax, shall behead you. I love how Jax gets this kind of theme song. It sounds oddly like something out of Luigi's Mansion or something, but it's sort of comforting to get to a character and like they have their own unique theme song, and they keep showing up. There's just something comforting about that, especially in an RPG where there's a lot of traveling and grinding, and it's like, hey, want some advice? Her stuff is really overpriced though. Like, go to the normal shop if you can. Get some of her advice if you can, but like, her advice was like, you know, she's basically a glorified Fitbit telling us how many steps that we've taken, and like, I don't care about that. Expose makes all stats worse, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that enemy just put up, is it Gum Arabic as a border? Okay, they just did it now, yeah. So if we can get past that barrier, that would be great. Miss Gun just died. Big hit on Tape Turtle. Oh, and Gum Arabic backfired on that enemy. What's the name of that enemy? Era and Bic. Okay, so Arabic. I don't actually know what Gum Arabic is. If somebody in the comments knows what Gum Arabic is, please tell me. I'm sure any of my artist friends would probably know. But I am a confused little boy, and I don't understand the ways of the world. So anyway, we're gonna beat these enemies. Monitor's now level 14. We're off to a pretty good start, you know. Whatever grinding you do in this game comes in handy later. So we're gonna end this episode sometime around now. We're gonna save the game. Jasper, yeah. All right. We're gonna keep playing Copper Odyssey next time. Bye.